Good evening, gang. Happy Tuesday. All right. Let's get over to this screen, see if I can see me, and if we get everything going, we'll get the show on the road. All right. Tickety tock for the screen to show up. See what we got. Wait for you guys. Still waiting. Okay. Kimberly says 5x5. I can expect. Oh, Boy Scout. Tony DG. Rebecca. Okay. All right. Happy Tuesday night, guys. Hope y'all are having a interesting week, good week. Unless, of course, you've been looking at the stock market, then you're not having a good week so far. Uh, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it gets to a point where sometimes I just got to walk away from it. But yeah, if I'm a little tired, if I look a little run down tonight, good reason for it. As you guys know, to drive back home. We were out in Virginia. We had to take care of some personal business out there. And so 6:30 in the morning, get on the road, got back here, about just short of 10 o'clock. And then yesterday was the day to grind out 26 stumps out of the backyard, or 27, something like that, all those trees we cut down a few weeks ago. And so Mrs. P and I had the joy today of going out and filling in all these holes and raking all the rakes and shovels and driving the four-wheeler over it to compact it, and because it looks like, the backyard looked like a minefield from all of this. So my hands are kind of blistered up a little bit, and my back is sore, and I'm not getting a whole lot of sleep late the last couple of days. So if I look a little tired, I apologize, but so we got 24 of them done or thereabouts. We got three left to do tomorrow, big ones. A couple oaks and a maple that we got to fill in that are down, but those are big holes. We'll get it done tomorrow, and that'll be that. And then the next step, of course, is take all those wood chips from all the trees and spread all that out. So yes, it's like the work never ends. Y'all know how that one goes. So there's one big story I want to talk to you guys about tonight. And if there's anything that tells you we have completely lost our collective minds in this country, this is it. This happens to be a story out of Virginia, which, like I said, I just came back from. Three high school boys were in the boys' locker room, changing clothes, whatever, gym class or sports or whatever. They didn't get into that story. And a girl pretending to be a boy, you know what that would be, comes into the boys' locker room. Teenage boys. You know it, in your teenage years, you're very self-conscious, whole nine yards. So girl walks in. The boys ask her to leave, say this isn't the place for you, blah 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 blah. No problem. The girl, pretending to be a boy, gets offended. She reports this. The boys get expelled from school and charged with sexual harassment. That something like that will follow them forever. If these cases wind up going to court, they would wind up potentially being on the sex offenders list for being boys and being in the boys' locker room changing clothes. Now, this is where the lunacy comes into this. They know exactly what happened because, get this, there's video of the entire incident taken by the girl pretending to be a boy. In Virginia, this is a common sense rule, it is illegal to photograph, videotape, live stream, whatever, from inside a locker room. it's kind of a common sense law, I think makes sense. All right. The school said that they did not pursue any charges against the girl for for breaking the law because none of the boys were in a compromising position. Meaning at this point, obviously, the boys weren't undressed, regardless of the fact that she was videotaping in a locker room. She's getting off scot free. These guys are expelled from school and risk being labeled as sex offenders for the rest of their lives for doing nothing more than asking somebody who was mentally incompetent to please leave their private dressing area. You tell me what that sounds like to you. That has got to be the most insane, idiotic thing I've ever heard. Now, y'all know as well as I do that there's going to be lawsuits by the boys' families against the school board. Here's the problem with that: they'll inevitably win, or at least the school board will settle with the families. But the ones that get stuck with the bill are the taxpayers. This is a big problem. We need to be able to start suing the individuals because these people that are hiding behind their positions on a school board, on a city council, as a cop, doing whatever, politician, when they're doing something like this and they don't face any punishment, oh, maybe they'll lose their school board seat. Yippee. Okay. No, let's see that $1 million, multi-million dollar lawsuit get slapped on them. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. You're going to have to sell your house. That's your problem, not ours. Okay. Because all the people in the cities now, or in this particular city, the potholes aren't getting fixed. Or maybe the library's not getting new computers. Or maybe we're going to have to cut back the salary of, cut back on the fire department or something, because we've got to shell out all this money because some moron in the school district decided it was perfectly acceptable for a girl to go into the boys' locker room and videotape the stuff. That's I'm sorry. I read that. I'm actually pretty calm right now because when Mrs. P and I were talking about this, I had smoke coming out of my ears. I was so pissed off. This is just ridiculous. But I wanted y'all to know that story because that's the kind of crap we've got going on. We've got one party in this country who is pro crime, pro illegal, pro mental insanity, wants to raise your taxes, and wants to make this a communist country. And yet, there are 60 or 70, don't tell me 81, million idiots in this country who think that's a better plan. It's like I said the other day, all these kids bitching about we can't afford houses and everything like that. I get it. Stuff's expensive. It is for everybody. I hate to tell you this. Not two sets of prices here, But I want to remind you of something. Trump's been president for 7 months. Go take a look, like I showed in the video, of where all the prices went up. That was during the last potato that was running the country, and you voted for him. So every time I hear somebody go, "Oh, Trump, this or the prices are so high," no, moron. The reason the prices are so high is because you voted for Joe Biden, who was more concerned with padding his pockets and doing anything for the American people. Yeah. So that was it. And this crap, this transgender bullshit, this DEI crap is all Joe Biden. So every time there's a problem, it goes back on the left jackass who was unfortunately cheated his way into the White House. Yes, 100% fact. 2020 was stolen. Bite me if you don't believe it. There you go. Like I said, I was a little steep. All right. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest, and I felt you guys had a right to know it. So, all right. Let's do some Q&A tonight. Maybe y'all can calm me down. Maybe my hand will feel better. We will, as per normal, take all questions, no matter the topic. Whatever you guys want to talk about is fine with me. It's good mental exercise for me to bounce back and forth between topics. So that's good. Keep me young at brain at least. My my body is my brain thinks I'm 25. My body disagrees. But yeah, so if you got questions for me, please put them in all caps. It just makes it easier for me to find questions quicker, keeps the live stream going a little smoother. Only rule, as per normal, and apparently we have a bunch of people in the comment section under videos that don't bother to follow this rule and they don't hurt anymore. Being polite is a requirement on this channel to each other and to me. To come up with a whole bunch of BS, insults, and everything like that, that gets your ass kicked out of here. All right. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? Watch it. Don't watch it. But as long as people are polite, I don't care about their opinions. They're entitled to them. As soon as they go off and are rude to me or rude to anybody else on this channel, they are gone for good. Okay. And the moderators know that. The moderators are really good. So, as I've said a million times before, engage brain before putting fingers in gear. You know, that would be it. So, all right, let's get to the top here and see what we got. Okay. There's a whole bunch of hellos and good evenings and roll on down. Everybody might get a better chance to have questions. We only got 800 and some odd people in here. Okay. Highlander Homestead. Could I please repeat the solar company's name that you used for installation? I'm waiting to install, and my cousin is wanting to install also. Thank you. Okay. The one that I used, I would not recommend at this point. All right. And I'm just going to tell you flat out it was Solar One US. And a few of you guys used them. Problems with them. They went back on they lied to me numerous times after the fact. So no, I would not recommend them. I'd actually recommend not using them. Okay. Did they do a fine job on my house? Yeah, once they figured it out, yeah, they did. Okay. But the stories that I've heard from what they did with other people and the calls that I've had with them and the lies that I had told to me by them and told to EcoFlow, yeah, they're pretty much persona non grata. When you start telling people that you are a certified EcoFlow installer, and EcoFlow says no, you're not. That that's enough right there to tell everybody do not do business with them. Okay, so that's what was going on. So yes, there's the answer. No, do not use them. If they see the video and see that, oh, I got the facts to back it up. Okay. Kathleen Maddox, that sounds like the UK. I'm guessing this was the story that I told you. Can't believe that that was Virginia. Crazy. Yeah. And I mean, Virginia's just, or I'm sorry, Virginia. The UK is just as nuts with their arresting people for memes. And I still love the one, my favorite one, a couple of them. The, it wasn't, I can't remember who it was, but it said that they were threatening Americans, saying if we said something negative about Keir Starmer or whoever, that they were coming after us. Good luck with that, you know. And then there was one the other day, a survey that the majority of people in the United Kingdom think Trump is the worst thing to happen to America this century. And I saw that in my comment under the article. I said, when is the UK going to learn that 250 years ago we told you we don't give a shit what you think and that hasn't changed? So, yeah, unbelievable. All right. Rolling. J Boo 54 in Pennsylvania. Common sense has left the building. Yeah, common sense is not a requirement to be a Democrat. That is for sure. You have to completely give up your common sense card to vote Democrats. That is, I think that's a criteria in their platform. That you know, did you guys catch Jasmine Crockett today? Okay, my favorite punching bag. I mean, because the woman is dumber than AOC. That's pretty hard. Her MAGA campaign is Make America Ghetto again. But she's now saying that when this redistricting goes through, because her district is going to disappear, she's going to run for governor and she's going to win for sure. Right. That's going to happen. You got as much chance of winning for governor in Texas as I do, and I live in Tennessee. Okay. So, but no, her latest one today was she got on TikTok or Instagram or somewhere, 'cause she's more concerned with views on social media than she is in actually legislating. Uh, but she's now pleading with Democrats around the country to move to Texas before the 2026 elections so they can stop the Republicans from taking over the state. Honey, I hate to tell you this. The Republicans took over Texas a long time ago, and you ain't ever getting it back. Okay. Just telling you that. You going bye-bye. Your your next job is going to be asking if you'd like fries with that because you have a law degree. Ain't nobody in the world hiring you as a lawyer. Just telling you. Okay. All right. Darlene Wright, what type of precedents will this case make? Oh, that's the whole point. Because now what? It's okay for transgenders to go film people in the locker room, and somebody said it above too. Mrs. P said the same thing when we were talking about this. How soon do we have literally child porn on the internet because somebody did this? And the school district and the state or whatever is going to say this is okay? I mean, they don't think there's there's a perfectly legitimate reason why cameras are not allowed in locker rooms. Okay. And as I said, they're like, well, because there was nobody was in a compromising position, it's not a problem. I hate to tell you this. I can't take a camera into a courtroom either. And chances are I'm not going to see anybody in a compromising position there either. But it's against the law. Okay? Laws are there for a reason. They are not suggestions. It's just like the yellow line in the middle of the road. It's not there in case you want to follow it. It's there for a reason. And the precedence this sets is exactly what the Democrats want. Hey, you know what? You don't have to follow the laws. Child porn is cool. But I'll tell you what, if it was the other way around, if it was the boys actually filming this girl in the restroom, then we got a problem too. And there's the reason why girls don't belong in boys' locker rooms and boys don't belong in girls' locker rooms. Pretty simple. Okay. Yeah. The precedent for this case is going to be insane. And like, if I'm that school board member, the principal, whatever, who I'm going, I need to look for a new job because I'm getting fired. That's just the dumbest. I, like I said, I mean, I read some stupid stuff that I tell you guys about, but I mean, that one takes the cake. Charge the boys that on tape didn't do anything more. I mean, the worst part about it is they taped it, and the tape is the evidence of the tape, which is illegal in the first place, is so damning, and that's where I think they're going to go with this one. How they're going to try to play this as a defense. It's like, well, Your Honor, it's not legal to videotape in the locker room, So therefore, the video should be inadmissible in court, seeing as how it was gotten under illegal circumstances. I can see how that's going to go, and then they're going to try to say the boys harassed her. I mean, can you see this going right now? There's enough scumbag lawyers out there that would pull that. All right. Pinball's hot tonight. Okay, so shy and reserved. Yes, because I'm always the shrinking violet, out here. I want to talk about cat videos and you know, right, because I never touch controversial subjects. Prep Rebel, how are my peaches doing? Smartass. Okay, peaches. The cicadas basically sucked the life out of my fruit trees this year, so I got nothing. How's the fish pond doing? The fish pond isn't doing much of anything. Like I said, it's still got what water it's going to get in it. Uh, we're going to probably put a well in the spring over there to get that done. But one step at a time, these trees had to go. All this, you guys know when you're trying to, if you literally will say this, reclaim land from the wild, which was pretty much what this yard was. I mean, we've now taken out, 3 acres. I've taken, I've taken down a 49 or 50 trees, plus all the trees we took down where the pond is. So that was probably at least another dozen. So yeah, we've taken out over 60 trees and digging out stumps and grinding out stumps and doing what all this sort of stuff. That trying to get what you consider a lawn here, trying to get my gardens in, trying to get fruit trees going. I mean, it's taken us years, and I think I told you was it last year or was it year before. We finally got to the backyard. That was it. We've been in the house for 6 years, and we didn't even touch the backyard before. So, Archangel Forever, why are people idiots? People aren't, Democrats are. Democrats aren't people, they're subhuman. Okay, that's just pretty much it. NT, how is Mrs. P's driving going? Don't know. We haven't even tried in a few months at this point. Uh, it's just, she keeps, well, the thing is this, the first part about it is she can't do anything with it because her permit that she got last year is expired. So in the 1 year of having her permit, she didn't ever get out of Sheriff's Bill. So uh, she keeps promising me she will get it done, but keep telling her, pray to God I don't have a heart attack. Hey, Suze, how many okra seeds do you want me to send for spring? Uh, Anywhere between 0 and 0 would be good. James Galbraith, which is better, globalists or technocrats? Both of them can burn in hell, as far as I'm concerned. Neither one of them are worth the shit. Okay, as much as people want to talk about, y'all know my thoughts on John Kerry, Klaus Schwab, and Prince or King Charles, and all these globalists. I mean, they're just, I wouldn't piss on them if they're on fire. But the technocrats are no better. Bill Gates or Larry Ellison or no, I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. Okay. I mean, I saw something Elon Musk posting today. It's like, you do realize that 100 square miles of solar panels, we could power the entire United States. Now, if any of you ever watched the video I did on this a couple of years ago, I did the math. And in order to power just the personally owned vehicles, no commercial vehicles, no trucks, no cabs, no nothing, by the amount of cars in this country and by the miles driven, you would have to cover the entire states of Nevada and Utah in solar panels. And it would have to be sunny every day of the year to power just the cars. Don't give me this 100 square miles of solar panels will do it. No, it won't. And this is why, as much as they can say Elon Musk is a genius, he's an genius. Sure. He's got all sorts of money and he can throw it around on all sorts of stuff. He built a rocket. No, he didn't. He hired a whole bunch of people who built a rocket. If I'm the richest man in the world, I can hire anybody to do that too. He did. He created PayPal. Whoopie flippin' do. That's it. Okay. He's made some good investments. I'll give you that. No problem. But that does not make him some uber guru. You know, Mark Cuban's rich too. And Mark Cuban's the biggest idiot I've ever seen. I mean, about clueless. So, but he's a billionaire. You know, he's a business genius. He's a business moron. I mean, the last person anybody wants to go into partnership with in anything is Mark Cuban. That's a certain death of a business. Every time I watch how he doesn't have a clue, but he loves basketball, so he bought a basketball team. Great, doesn't know anything about basketball either. Uh, Neither answer your question. Here's a pinball. When is the better time to add manure compost in Western Massachusetts? Spring, fall, before planting garlic in November. Uh, as long as it's well rotted compost, you can do it whenever. All right, it's not going to make a difference. I usually put mine in the fall because all the material I'm gathering over the summer I'm composting. Okay. And then by the time I'm done taking everything out, my first bin's totally done. My second bin's about halfway. My third bin is all the last bits of stuff. I mean, Mrs. P and I were pulling out, Mrs. P mostly, pulling out all the corn stalks this week or last week. But put your compost in before you plant your garlic. So that would be it, because the garlic's going to love the compost. So, but that's usually about the time I do it too. My compost goes in, compost goes in, then the garlic goes in, then the gardens are done for the year. Okay. Robert Bates, did the okra that Mountaintop Preps aerial seeded from above take seed? Nope. If he even tried it, nope. If he aerial seeded, it might have been a lawn and it got mowed. And if he did it, I'd kick his ass. So do not put that poison in my yard. All right. Ricky Savage. The potato was the only figurehead of the Trojan horse. Yeah. Kathy Williams. Does Mrs. P have a wish list for bulbs to plant this fall? I'm thinking her wish list is probably a unwish list. We again redoing the yard, so we were redoing the front of the house and the side of the house. We're still just about done with the side of the house. I got to put barrier mulch down for that. But we moved, got rid of some plants that just, I mean, like we had some daylilies that are their lifespan was done. Okay, they were hardly doing anything. But so when we were doing this, where she planted, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 lily bulbs a few years ago. She's now got 200 where we planted, I think 6, 3 on each side, gladiola bulbs. We've probably got 200. We moved some of her calla lilies. We moved her peonies, but we've got so many gladiola bulbs and so many uh, lily bulbs. She's trying to figure out where she wants to put them now that we're complete. This is part of the reason why I'm trying to get the whole backyard done now before fall, so we can have the gardens ready for put any of the fall planted bulbs in there in the spring, so they're ready. So I'm not trying to work, create or recreate a garden for the flowers when it's time to be planting stuff. So we got the front done. That's good. The side will be done. We need 1 day to do that. It's not a big deal, but we got to finish these holes because I don't want anybody Not that anybody should be walking through my yard, but y'all know how that goes. Somebody goes walking through your yard in the middle of the night, steps in a hole and breaks their leg, and it's like, well, even though I was trespassing, I'm suing you and your homeowner's insurance because I fell in a hole in your yard. So I'm trying to avoid that. And of course, Daffy running around the yard. I don't need her going in a hole and getting hurt and got blind. So all of a sudden there's a hole where there wasn't one yesterday. So that's why we're trying one step at a time. But it's like trying to again. The mind's 25, the body ain't. We're doing okay. But no, I don't think there's anything that she's even going to add this year. Uh, Tulips around here, we don't even pull them. So they just keep coming back for 3 or 4 years until they wear out their lifespan, and that's it. And she planted hundreds of tulip bulbs last year, so those are fine. I don't know, whatever she's going to do up here, but this is mostly shade, so that's not bulbs. She's got uh, daffodils on one side where there's some sun, but the rest of it, that's shaded area, so that's going to be mostly hostas. Where were we? Northern Girl. Hey, long time no see. Another win for Ontario pinball. We succeeded with opposing the glyphosate spraying. Good. Thank God. I I I get it when people want to spray a little bit of Roundup on their driveway because there's weeds growing through the cracks or something like that. I get that. But this is a one size fits all. Let's spray it on all the food crops, and because they spray it on corn, and again, glyphosate Roundup. Okay, it kills dicots plants. Most weeds are dicots. It's great in cornfields because it doesn't kill monocots, which is what corn is. Corn is a grass. Grass is a monocot. It's like when you see weed and feed. I've explained this before, but how does that work? How does it kill the weeds but not the grass? Because the weeds are dicots, the grass is monocots. Okay, so that's the deal. So you need a different weed killer to kill it. But when they go, well, we're going to spray this in the city parks, we're going to spray this on all the food, then we're eating all that crap. And, walking through it, do whatever. And no, it does not need to be used for commercial purposes. Spraying it on golf courses and cemeteries and, anywhere there's grass, we need to spray this stuff. It's like the 1960s when the trucks going down spraying what was it, not DEET, what the hell were they spraying? I forget, to kill all the mosquitoes. Uh, and the kids were chasing the truck. Gee, no wonder. Julie Mortensen, hi Pinball. How do I know when my sweet corn is ready to harvest? If you peel back the corn a little, and on the end, from whatever's not eaten up by cornworms, okay, squeeze those first kernels on the top, and if you've got a milky residue coming out of it, they're ready. Okay. If they've gone further, you've turned it into dried corn. But if they don't have a milky residue, they're not ready. So, but by this, depending on when you planted, by this point, you're probably harvesting corn. My corn is already long since harvested, and I checked it the other day. It's dry. It's ready to be husked or not husked, taken off the cob and stored. So, Wide Awake 4. Thoughts on cashing in a 50-year-old savings bond, cash or hold? Uh, yeah, but a 1970. Geez, 1975. Uh, I mean, when's it mature? There's the thing. Once it matures, it's not going to pay you anything else. It's now how savings bond works, like a zero coupon bond. Once it gets to par to 100, that's it. You can hold on to it longer, but it's not going up anymore. So if it's a 50-year-old savings bond, it's a 50-year bond, and it's maturing, you don't have any choice. You cash it. So we already talked about that. Aaron M75. How deep is my water well? That is 330 feet for the one for the house. How many gallons per minute? I'm not sure, and what type of well pump. It was the one that was put in when the house was built, and we didn't build the house. So, but I believe we get, I think it's like 8 gallons a minute or something like that. I think I remember seeing that in the closing docs. But as for what brand of pump it is, I don't know. Darlene Wright, please tell me, what do you do to the ground in the garden for fall? All right, so after I take out all my spent plants, okay, pull everything for the year, a lot of what I'll do is chop and drop in the fall. Okay, so you're ripping out the plants, cut them up with shears or whatever it is. I mean, the best way to do it, you got tomato plants, get out your big hedge trimmers or whatever it is, and just start chopping it like this. Okay, and let it all fall. No problem. Okay, then get everything there because it's going to compost in place. This is what I told you. Why move the stuff? Why take it all the way to your compost pile so you just can bring it back again next year? So that stuff I compost in place. Then all my grass clippings from mowing, especially when the leaves fall down, uh, shredding leaves, everything like that, that all gets dumped in the gardens right on top. For the wintertime, it's good. It's like a bleak soil. You know, we don't get a whole lot of snow here. You guys get snow, but it'll keep the soil from freezing if you get some more, which keeps the microorganisms going longer, to worm poop, whatever in the soil. So keep going there. But I put all of that in there. Is the grass clippings, uh, the shredded leaves, the spent vegetables, anything. And I mean, anybody tells you, oh, don't put potatoes in there or something like that, go ahead, put your potatoes in there. If you put everything else in, mix it all up, you're not doing anything. If you've got diseased plants, don't put those in. Okay. That should go without saying. Then the one thing I do, and again, this is because of the climate I live in, because it doesn't get that cold. Uh, and I mean, it could still be in the 60s and 70s on Christmas here. I will go over preen in the fall, and then I will go over it with preen about February to keep the weeds down as best I can. But yeah, what you're trying to do in fall, because it's got a boatload of organic material that you can add to the gardens, that is the time to do it. Uh, Jessica Wheeler, have I ever seen the 1970s movie Colossus, the Forbin Project? It's about AI. No, I've never even heard of it. So that I cannot say I have. Dorothy Capano Walker, I have to replace my water filter. What is the filter I recommend? Are you talking about, like, you got a Berkey or something like that? Okay, and there's a couple of ways. The Berkeys, and I've got one, but I don't worry. It's never been opened. It's in the box. It's there in case of emergency. Uh, but I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong if this has changed, but there was a big problem with Berkey filters. So, okay, maybe you stay away from the Berkey. Then was the Aqua Pure, I think, is the other one everybody else likes, for the gravity fed type filters. So if I'm looking at the choice of those two, and I don't know of any other ones, uh, go with the Aqua Pure. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. Just because of the Berkey filters. If that's changed, then I'm all wet. The one I have and the one that I like is the Idaho one. Now the pros and cons to it. Okay, A, it's cheaper. B, the filters are cheaper and available. The downside is it's electric. So if the power goes out, you have to have some sort of backup power source, a generator of some sort, which obviously I do. So that works for me. but I had done a review on that. God, it's probably 2 years ago now, where I literally went out to the pond, got pond water straight out of the pond with fish poop and everything, ran it right through on camera, and had a crystal clear glass of water. And it, obviously, I'm still here, so never got sick or anything like that. That's the one I like the best. But again, there is no one size fits all. That one's electric. If you don't have backup electric source, maybe you want something gravity fed. If you look at EMPs and say it's going to wipe out everything electric, then maybe I'm all that. Okay. I try to show you all sorts of different options, but ultimately, what works for me may or may not work for you. So that's best I can say there. Breed. All my peaches disappeared this year. Young kids that had never had a fresh peach in the trees beside the road. Okay, that could be. I mean, I know mine. My peaches got a little bit, maybe got to tennis ball size, and then I got uh, brown rot in the trees, and I think that was just from the cicadas. Because I mean, you guys, those of you who live in East Tennessee, you know what the cicadas were like. I mean, it was insane. It, I mean, we thought it was car alarms going off. It was so loud. But yeah, even if you look at the trees outside now, all the new growth, the last foot, the newest foot of all the branches on all the trees is all dead. It's been all summer like that because that's where they go in there. They suck all that out. They lay the eggs in there. Everything drops. And that sitting there for 12 years or 17 years or whatever it is. Rebecca Woosley, how or where do you store my cardboard? Having problems with humidity, bugs, and vermin. Uh, Ironically, where I keep it is in a bathtub that don't, in the spare bathroom. The only time that bathroom ever gets used is when PBJ comes here. So, I mean, it's twice a year. Uh, we put it in there. I don't have any problem with it, but I don't have to store it that long because pretty much as soon as I've got, I mean, maybe it's a month or two, and I've got enough, and I'm out laying it on something to keep weeds down. So, I mean, more often than not, we're looking for cardboard. I can't tell you how many times I go picking through the behind the dollar store where they break down all the boxes, and I'm like, I need cardboard. I need cardboard. Just grab cardboard. Go in and ask first. They're like, yeah, take whatever you want. So okay. I wind up going getting cardboard more than saving it because it's not like I'm an Amazon addict or something. Uh, Von Mousetrap, whatever happened with my hearing in my ear? Okay. I thought I told you guys this. So I did wind up going to the doctor again. The fun part was it's not as bad as a colonoscopy. Okay. The prep work. Anybody's ever had a colonoscopy, you know what I'm talking about. Not that bad. But the worst part was the prep work for a week ahead of time. Mrs. P had to get this, drops of olive oil in my ear every day. And I had to lay there for 15 or 20 minutes on my side to let the uh, olive oil get it. Don't ask me why olive oil. Okay. To let it get down into my inner ear. So when I went after doing this for a week and they get in there and then they're doing this ear flush and everything, and I learned, and I'll give you the other story I learned from PBJ on this. So when they finally got it, they pulled out a plug, literally, that was about maybe a little bit bigger than a pencil eraser that was down in my inner ear. Now, I'm not the type of person that uses Q-tips in my ears. I've always, the old story, the only thing you should ever put in your ear is your elbow. Many of you guys probably heard that. That's pretty much my theory. The outside of your ear is one thing, but nothing in the rim. And so they pulled this thing out, and I mean, when she's in there flushing it, all of a sudden I heard bubbles. I'm like, it's coming out. And then she popped it out. And it was, like I said, a little bit bigger than a pencil eraser. So I was asking PBJ about this. And mind you, she's going to med school. And she was telling me, she goes, as you get older, she goes, your ear stops creating some enzyme or something like that, or slows down creating the enzyme that dissolves the earwax. And so as you get older, you're going to have that problem more often. She goes, it doesn't happen to everybody, but she goes, obviously it happened to you. I'm like, okay. So that, so yes, I can hear out of both ears again with that. Roy Deaver, do not put solar panels on your roof. Look into a solar tracker. I've got solar panels on my roof and they work fine. Uh, I the solar tracker is good. Don't get me wrong. Uh, you can do a ground mount system. It just depends on what you want. I mean, I've got the solar panels on my roof, and I mean, our house is kind of an A-frame house, uh, but they're on the front porch, which is what, maybe a 20-degree angle or something like that. You don't even know I've got panels on my house. Now, if I have a solar tracker out in the backyard, or if I have a standalone array out in the backyard, well, it takes up space on my property that I kind of like having. Okay. Makes it a pain in the ass to have something else to mow around. And it makes it a whole lot easier for somebody to damage them. So, yes, a there are benefits to a solar tracker. I get it. If you guys don't know what it is, it's something that moves automatically. It'll follow the sun. It rises in the east, and it'll move from east to west so you get the full day sun. Mine's on the west side of the house. I don't pick up sun on my panels until about 11:30 or near. But by the end of the day, summertime, everything's fully charged. And in the wintertime, I can go, I get probably 80% charge on a sunny day in the wintertime. So, yeah, personal choice, but solar panels on the roof work fine too. It's my money. I do it my way. If you don't like it, you hate me for it. Okay. Somebody got pissed at me in today's video because I said about the person that got the story in Chicago about the guy who shot the store clerk, life in prison, and they were all pissed off at me because they can't believe I didn't call for capital punishment for it. And I'm probably the most pro capital punishment person you're ever going to meet. But I'm like, you know, if if you got to nitpick that much, maybe go watch somebody else. I'm just saying. uh, Brenda Hall, a great evening canning okra while you edify. Enjoy. Don't invite me for dinner. JBoo 54 again. Jasmine is all out insane. That the woman is an embarrassment. That's the yeah. Low Country Gardener's probably right. MS Now, which is the new name for MSNBC because it's failing so badly with this merger. The company that bought out Paramount and everything like that, basically getting rid of MSNBC. So they're now rebranding as MS Now. It's like you still have the same idiots on there. Nobody else is going to watch the channel. It's not like, oh, you got a new name, great, let's go watch. No, not happening. Uh, I gotta scroll back. Oh, Alexa Pure. There we go. That's somebody put it on there. Okay. DDT. Yes. DDT, yes. See, this, I don't have all the answers. I don't remember everything. I appreciate you guys helping me like that. Dorothy Catapano said, it's my countertop filter. Uh, okay. If you're filtering tap water now, that's what are your plans for it at this point? This is what I'd say. The Alexa Pure or the Ida Hill are going to be what I'd go with. I guess is what I'd say. Prep Rebel says I'll send you a link for good replacement filters for the Berkey. Don't send it to me. I don't need it. post it up on your community board or something, guys. Prep Rebel's got a link for replacement filters. There's your place to go. Check out his channel. He can post it up there. Please don't send me emails asking for the link. I don't have it. Okay. And I'm not going to look for it. Like I said, that was the one thing that was funny. That video yesterday, I think it was with the clip of the lady at the end, and when she was talking about, she goes, and people ask us questions, we don't have the answers, and the next thing you know, we're looking up the answers on Google for something we didn't even care to know in the first place. I can't tell you how true that is. When it's not just YouTube; it's everywhere. Looking at we'll go back to the stock market and how many times I see in chat room stuff. When's the dividend date? Are you that lazy that you can't go look it up yourself? Because I'm not going to go look it up for you. You know, it. I don't know what it is with people, but it's like we live in a society where everybody just kind of assumes other people will do everything for you. You know, I don't want to go look it up. I'll ask, and somebody else will go do it for me. No, whoa, sorry, that's it. John Fontwagler, what's wrong with Berkey filters? Again, like I said, I mean, this goes back probably a year. There was an issue with them. It's not like I follow what's going on with Berkey in the news. Like I said, I've got one. It's never come out of the box. It's for emergency purposes only. I just remember that from a year ago. But like I said, if it's changed, that's fine. I don't know. Uh, Shelly Frazier says Alexa Pure from Patriot Supplies gravity filter I use. Love it. Uh, Fran Moyer, have I heard anything about Rudy? Somebody asks me this every week. No, I haven't. I'm not on Rudy's speed dial for him to call me and tell me what's going on. Uh, so, when Rudy ever comes back to YouTube, I'll know the same time you do. I'll get the notification that he posted a new video. That's it. But I don't have Rudy's phone number. I've got the same email address that all of you guys have. So, and it's, frankly, it's none of my business to ask him what's going on. And so I'm not going to. When Rudy wants to tell everybody what he's doing, if he ever even comes back to YouTube, I don't know. That's his decision to make, not mine. Andy, do I have the spotted lantern flies yet? As far as I know, no. So, last I heard, they were Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, so they haven't got down. They got down through West Virginia, Kentucky. That means they're coming here. No, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything of the sort, and I have not heard anything from anybody. I mean, Tractor Supply, feed store, hardware store. Nobody said anything about it. So, J-Boo again. I'll never ever have a colonoscopy ever again. Yeah. That's the thing. The colonoscopy isn't the hard part. It's the prep. That's what sucks. The worst part is how much. The first one, I had one in my 40s, and I had one a few years ago. Uh, and the first one, I remember they were like, Gatorade and X-Lax and something else. And the last time I went, it's like, oh, you got to go to the pharmacy and get this prescription stuff. And it was like $130. I'm like, the hell is it? All you need me to do is clean out. The Gatorade and the X-Lax worked last time. What's wrong this time? So who knows? Rebecca Woodley, check it, Mr. P. Check at furniture stores before the trash trucks run. You might want to ask. It's inside when they get their furniture deliveries. Yeah, except where I live, not really. Well, no, I guess there is a Lazy Boy outlets up there, maybe. But yeah, usually the dollar stores and the grocery store, if I'm lucky, I can get stuff from. But I'm not driving all the way into Knoxville or something like that. I mean, freaking cardboard. So, back to basics. You need to get ear candles for your ears. They pull the buildup out for you. Okay, I've never even heard of ear candles. All right, something to look into. See, I'll go look it up, Diane. I'm not going to ask you to do it for me. Prep Rebel, did I sell stocks in Disney? Did I? Well, if you go back to my days as a broker, yeah. I mean, for Delaney's literal birthday, we had put a time capsule together for her, and I had bought her 10 shares of Disney for her birthday. It was $500 back in 1999. Uh, but yeah, I can't. I mean, the only reason I got that was because it was something fun for kids, and I got the stock certificate that had Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and everything like that. I went time capsule for it. She got to open when she was 21. Uh, Fortunately, she made some money on it, but I hope you would after 20 some odd, 21 years. But uh, honestly, I don't even think when I was a broker, I ever recommended buying Disney to anybody. And I mean, I know I've never owned it other than buying 10 shares for PBJ. So 859. Okay. Tammy K sounds like solar panels need to be on those TV bracket things that you can move. They're way too heavy for something like that. I mean, you go get one of the uh, trackers. Those things will cost you a couple of $1,000. Lantern flies are crazy here. Okay, Cat Lady, last one. Lantern flies came to the U.S. from Pennsylvania on the trains that come through here, according to the extension. Lantern flies came here from China. Okay, again. Uh, so, another great Chinese import that we got. Everything that's destructive, kudzu, stink bugs, everything like that. We send them nuclear technology and the internet. They send us stink bugs and lantern flies. So fair trade. All right, gang. Have a good Tuesday night. Go check out Jason, Angry Prepper. It's his turn at 9 o'clock. Toss it over to him. We'll see you in the morning.